Hello, this is Ryan with Deepwood Handcraft, bringing you this video today from another rainy day, because that's what's going to happen for the rest of the year, probably until it starts snowing. So we got a couple of things to show you in this video today. One is long overdue, and that is my handmade longbow from Kashtuk Bowcraft, and I hope I'm saying that right. And another one is a custom quiver I just finished up, and that thing was a beast to make for the first one, because I had no idea what I was doing in the world of quivers. And this one turned out pretty spectacular in my opinion, but there is definitely much room for improvement after getting it all together and kind of seeing how things work and need to work on these things. So quivers are now something that we can do, and I'll show you all that in just a moment. But first of all, custom bow from Kashtuk Bowcraft. This is a hickory longbow, 72 inches, 65-pound draw at 30 inches, and canvas backed, solid hickory, finished in tung oil, I believe, though he usually uses boiled linseed oil, if I'm correct. Not sure what the string is made of, but it is heavy duty. It's got all the good measurements. I don't know anything about bows except for what I've learned on YouTube and Google, so I did a bit of looking at that stuff before I ordered one, and to be honest, 65 pounds is a little bit heavy for me and probably not all that necessary, but being in Alaska, I want all I can get, if that makes any sense. Because the animals up here are very big, and I'd like as much behind it as I could possibly get. Though I do plan on getting another bow from Kashtuk, because I'm extremely happy with this one. I'm going to get one a bit lighter, maybe around the 55-pound mark. And as the years go by, I'll probably get several more from him, because I am extremely happy with this bow. I am a novice in the traditional archery community, and I have much to learn, and I am busying myself in my free time in that endeavor. And so I'm going to try to get the camera set up and take a couple of shots, and I'm going to make another video when I have time of me just basically shooting and my arrow placement, and not in any way a how-to video, but a look at this video and look at my form and give me any suggestions for corrections, because I don't know any traditional archers around here, and don't have time to do lessons or any such thing as that. I'm kind of a learn it myself type of fellow in pretty much every aspect of my life. I like to teach myself how to do things, but that comes with all kind of bad form and all kind of issues. So any advice I can get is definitely much welcomed and appreciated. But that'll be a separate video. Right now I'll just try to frame up, take a couple of shots so you can see how this thing shoots. So as you can see, I don't have any silencers on this string just yet. And I'm not wearing a guard on my wrist, and that's because this does not really slap. I get a little bit of slap right here, and that is probably much more to do with bad form than anything else. And as you can see, it's a tiny bit red there. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. But with a jacket on or a sleeve of any kind, this is just a lightweight fleece. With just that on my arm, it's not a problem at all. I also don't have one of those finger glovey things, and that might improve my form a little bit too, because that does get to be a bit sensitive after shooting 30 or 40 arrows. But I got some pretty thick calluses there, so it's not as much of an issue to me, but it probably would be a good idea anyway. So if only I knew a custom leather crafter that could make me one of those, I might have one. But anyway, so that is the bow, Kashtuk Bowcraft. I will put his info in the description. This is a one-piece self bow, separate little handle there, or grip I guess you could call it. I don't have it wrapped in anything just yet. I'm extremely happy with this as a first bow. I don't have any experience with other bows or other companies, so I can't compare. But as far as I am concerned, this thing is great. The craftsmanship on it is evident. You can tell that he cares about what he's doing. And I'm extremely happy with this, so much so that I'm going to get another one from him. A little bit lighter, maybe we'll call it the Deepwood Stalker. So that is the bow, and now we will take a closer look at the quiver. So here's the quiver as modeled by my lovely wife. Turn around. Show the strapping system. One goes around the shoulder and the other around the body to kind of give a little bit of extra support. And to start off with, I did a little bit of Google searching to just kind of get a good idea of quivers and how they're done. And I looked at several styles and saw how they accomplished some of the things that they accomplished, and then I spoke very closely with Jason to come up with this design, and I kind of ran with it a little bit, and some things worked out well and some things will be improved on future designs. And this is sized for a female, which means it does not fit my 6'3" frame very well. So what we came up with was kind of a teardrop design instead of a round quiver, and as you can see, there's still a little bit of play right there, but that can be fixed with some lace, I believe. And I'll show you this better in depth after she takes it off. This bit right here is two separate lace pulls to hold the arrows in tight to the edge so that they're not falling around or shaking around while you're moving. And they can be separated to hold two different bunches of arrows if you've got two different styles of arrows you're carrying, or they can just be used all on the same bunch of arrows. So that's what it looks like when it's on. A little pocket for a few essentials. It's decent size, but not too big. And it just draws up and toggle closure. kind of keep everything in there nice and secure. And a little bit of rabbit fur all over everything. So that is what it looks like. This is bull hide that I have hit unevenly with wax, kind of give it that antique look. A little bit of camo, I guess you might could say. And then it's been obered off, so if it looks a little wet, it is at the moment, but that should dry up a little bit. The wax on this is going to bloom, which means that as the structure of the wax collapses and settles, the paraffins will rise to the surface as a white film that can be wiped off with an oily rag or hit lightly with the blow dryer to evaporate those off the surface. It's not going to continue to happen indefinitely, but it will happen a little bit in the beginning as this is new. And so I'll go over a few more of the details after she takes this off here in a minute. But that's what it looks like when it's on. If this strap is a little too long, then it can easily be trimmed off, and I will give a short video showing how to accomplish such a thing. So smile, sweetie. Face to a name, that is Misty. Rabbit fur at the top. Bull hide, this is all veg tan piece here. This is all, I think this is actually bison lace from bison hide, is what I cut that lace from. Antler toggles. So that is the quiver being worn. Okay, so here is the quiver. And it is set up on a, this goes over the shoulder, this goes around the body, as you will see in the video clip of my wife wearing it. This is sized for a female, so for me to wear it looks a bit silly on my 6'3" frame. And so I go over materials while my wife is wearing it, so we'll talk about that there. On the inside of this is a veg tan insert, just to kind of give it a little bit of extra protection against the arrows going in and out of it. And at the bottom is on the inside is a piece of 1/4 inch thick veg tan saddle skirting, and on top of that is a nice fluffy piece of sheepskin with the wool still on it, so that between the fur at the top and the wool in the bottom, your arrows are not going to be bouncing around or banging around or making a bunch of noise in the quiver. So we did talk a little bit about the bottom outside of this quiver maybe taking a little more abuse than the rest of it, just by the nature of on and off and setting it down and scraping stuff. And so on the second quiver I will put a protective piece around this, or an extra piece around this. I'm not going to take this one apart to do that because that is a lot of work. But if it should come to a point where this starts getting wore out and it's just not looking good, then at that point I can go on and send it back, and I will undo this bit and add a piece around here. But I don't see the need to do that right off the bat. I think this leather is going to hold up well. This is bull hide, and as you can see, it's not thin stuff. It's pretty thick, heavy duty leather, and I've treated it with wax on the outside, kind of in a random pattern, just kind of for looks, but the wax also adds a bit of protection against scratches and wear. And then on top of that, of course, I've got the Obernoff just to give it a little bit more waterproofness, since the wax is The wax covers at 100%, but it's a lot heavier in some places than others, which is how you get these dark spots. And so it's all laced together, even at the top here under the fur. That is a piece of edge tan laced on just to kind of give it some form. And the rabbit fur just hangs loose over that, except for at the back here where the toggle comes through. And you need to be a little careful when you're messing with the toggle and the rabbit fur, just because the rabbit fur is not as hardy as the other leathers on this thing. But should something happen to this rabbit fur, that can also be replaced fairly easily. Just a matter of unlacing this and getting a new piece put on there and relaced. And that is the beauty of repairable gear. There's no glue on this thing anywhere, and I don't understand a need for glue, because should something happen, this thing is repairable, even in the field. Might not look good if you repair it in the field, but it will be functional unless something terrible happens and it just gets chopped in half, at which point that could be fixed too, I guess, for the field. You just poke some holes and lace it back together again. But you get the idea. French calf pocket, veg tan lid, veg tan piece going around here. This lace is from bison hide. Antler toggles, bull hide body, veg tan inserts, wool at the bottom, and that's tied in with this knot right here. So that can also be taken out if desired, but I don't see a need for it. So a couple of things. This is a teardrop design, and I did look at a bunch of quivers on Google and kind of came up with my own thing after getting a good idea of how quivers need to come together and what needs to be on them, and talking to Jason. And Jason's store is Greenleaf Gear, and I'll put the the link to that info in the description, as well as the Kashtuk Bowcraft info will also go in the description should you want to contact either of those people. D-rings on everything so the straps have a little bit of play for movement. This strap for the body just goes around the strap for the shoulder and can go up and down depending on how you're wearing it. So a couple of things right off the bat on future designs. All of this is going to go a little bit further into the center of the bag, and it's because I envisioned this thing holding a little bit more form than it does. And as you can see, it doesn't collapse on itself. It's kind of got a good amount of form in there, but it's not extremely stiff either. But got a better idea of how that needs to go together in the future, though this one should do nicely. And if not, just send it back and I'll keep it for my wife and make another one. And the other one will be fixed for design flaws that are not technically flaws. It's just kind of a amount of better placement and that kind of thing. You know, the first one, you never have a good idea of what you're necessarily doing, at least I don't. So the first one always comes with a lot of learning that can be then applied to the second, third, fourth, fifth, and that kind of learning process keeps building on itself. And if it doesn't, you're doing it wrong, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. So anyway, that is all we have to show today. Couple more videos coming up soon, so stay tuned for those. But that's it for me. Have a nice day.